What's up guys, back for another Honkai Star Rail video, and in this video we are going to go over should you've summoned for Topaz and Numby second rerun. Yeah, they really like to sell Topaz, if you haven't noticed. Almost like they like to push out follow attack teams. Oh, shocker. Oh, and look who's rerunning right now, Robin and a follow-up attack unit into Topaz and Numby, a follow-up attack unit. Crazy, huh? Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna go over Topaz and Numby's kit, and then I will give my thoughts on if you should summon, and if you should summon, what teams, you would have with her. Obviously, if you have characters like so and so, Topaz is a better pick. If you don't, then she's less of a good pick. All that good stuff. But before we get into the video, don't forget to hit that like button, put some good karma out in the world. Maybe you might win your 50-50, that's just how I view it. You be a good person, and karma like sometimes will reward you. I'm just saying, doesn't hurt. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more content. I always say at the end of my videos, and then I mean, obviously most people don't watch the end of the video, so it's kind of productive. So hit the subscribe button, bro. It's like really cool, and you like Honkai Star Rail. I like Honkai Star Rail, so like we have stuff in common, and I make videos, and they can be pretty helpful, and I'm pretty quick with uploading news and stuff. So you hit that subscribe button, you'll see it faster. I promise. Just hit the button. Hit the button. Anyway. Topaz and Numby. They are a 5-star fire hunt character, and Topaz is very cool, but I mean, look at Numby, bro. Numby is pretty damn sick. I think this is our first dual character, technically, because no other character is, it's not Jing Yun and Lightning Lord, it's not Linksha and the Bunnies. Which is kind of funny because they have a similar-esque mechanic like Lightning Lord, but unfortunately, Jingyun and the Lightning Lord doesn't roll off the tongue like Topaz and Numby, I guess. But regardless, though, let's get into our kit. Our first is the classic 100% attack, normal attack. Wow, shocker. It's almost like most units in the game have a, their element, 100% of their attack, single target, basic attack. I know, crazy. Sometimes they have HP scaling ones, so it's those are pretty cool, I guess. Then her skill invokes a single target enemy with proof of debt. Yep, they owe taxes. Increases the fall attack damage it receives by 50%. Proof of debt only takes effect on the most recent target it is applied to. If there are no enemies inflicted with proof of debt on the field when an ally's turn starts or when an ally takes action, Topaz will inflict a random enemy with proof of debt. Damage deals 5 damage equal to 150 of Topaz's attack to this target. Using the skill to deal damage is considered launching a follow-up attack. Then Topaz's ultimate, Numby enters the Windfall Bonanza state, and its damage multiplier increases by 150 and crit damage by 25. Also, when enemies with proof of death are hit with an ally's basic attack, skill, or ultimate, Numby's action is advanced forward by 50%. Numby exits the Windfall Bonanza state after using 2 attacks. Then, Topaz's talent is summons Numby at the start of battle. Numby has 80 speed by default. When taking action, Numby launches a follow-up attack on a single enemy target afflicted with proof of debt, dealing fire damage equal to 150 of Topaz's attack. When an enemy is afflicted with proof of debt receive an ally's follow-up attacks, Numby action is advanced forward by 50%. This action advanced forward effect cannot be triggered during Numby's own turn. When Topaz is down, Numby will disappear, unfortunately. I'm just saying, technically they're not the same entity, so like Numby should like continue the good fight, but balancing all that good stuff, it is what it is, right? Then for Topaz's technique, summons Numby when Topaz enters the overworld. Numby will automatically search for basic treasures and trotters within a set radius. Using her technique will regenerate 60 energy for Topaz and Numby's first attack in the next battle. If Topaz is still on the team after using her technique and defeating overworld enemies, a small bonus amount of credits will be added to the earned credits. Maximum of 10,000 bonus credits can be received per calendar day, aka until reset. After using her technique and defeat enemies in similar universe or divergent universe, additionally receive a small amount of cosmic fragments with a small chance to obtain 1 random Kuro. Yeah, pay to win, pay to win. Funny enough, they haven't done her technique on anyone else. I mean, it makes sense. She was the first IPC character, so like, credits, they're all like, they're basically like the IRS in a sense. The technique thing is pretty interesting because she doesn't have anything to do with simulated universe. You would think it would be given to someone like, well, Rerun May has her own simulated universe thing, right? But it's very interesting that they give her a simulated universe buff, even though she really doesn't have anything to do with it. Potentially, if we get like a 5-star Herda or a Screwlium, they'll probably have a similar technique, or maybe a passive, like a talent or whatnot, like this. But still very interesting, very cool, unique technique. Also, the search for basic treasures and trotters is really cool because the trotters will just come up to a Numby and you can walk up to them and just, you know, shoot them and go from there. They won't run away from you, which is also a cool bonus. Then for Topaz's bonus traces, we have after Numby uses an attack roll in the Windfall Bonanza state, Topaz gets 10 energy. Increase Topaz and Numby's damage dealt to enemy targets with a fire weakness by 50%. And then when Topaz uses a base attack to deal damage, it will be considered a follow-up attack. Then her stat bonuses are 22.4% fire damage boost, 12% crit rate, and 10% HP. Then I never recommend going for dupes. However, this one's a special case. I'll explain later after I go over them. E1, when enemies inflicted with proof of debt receive follow-up attacks. Holy crap. Your boy needs some water. Give me a second. Alright, anyway, your boy Star was getting mad dry. Anyway, when enemies inflicted with proof of debt receive follow-up attacks, they will enter the debtor? Yeah, that's a word. This can affect only once within a single attack. The state increases the crit damage of follow-up attacks inflicted on the target enemies by 25%, stacking up to 2 times. When proof of debt is removed, the state is also removed. So pretty much you hit them twice, 50% crit damage, right? Then E2, after Numby takes action and launches an attack, Topaz generates 5 energy. After Numby's turn begins, Topaz action is advanced forward by 20%. And E6 is Numby's attack count during the Windfall Bonanza state increased by 1, and its fire res pen increases by 10% when it attacks. Overall, the best dupe is going to be E1, which is good because you actually really want E1. Now, me, myself, it's hard to compare Topaz to Moze, which is kind of her competition, because I don't have Topaz myself. I was going to summon for her originally, but ended up deciding against it, which actually was a good thing because I personally believe if you have March and at least E2 Moze, you can actually get by without getting Topaz at all. If you already have Topaz, there are a few things you can do. Her light cone increases her crit rate and her follow-up attack damage, and also increases your, let me pull it up just to double check, the crit damage of, yeah, okay. So after warrior uses the follow-up attack, apply the tame state to the target. When allies hit enemy targets under the tame state, every tame stack increases crit damage by 12%. Right? So Topaz is a character who really, really wants her light cone. And I believe, don't quote me on this because I obviously don't have her, so it's really hard for me to test this. I also don't have E6 Moze. I believe the best support for follow-up is by far Topaz and Numby when you have Topaz with her signature light cone and E1. Because E1 is adding even more damage with the crit stacks, right? However, if you have E0, S0, I honestly think March and Moze are going to be better picks. I've heard pretty bad stuff about Topaz, and I've used Topaz, right, before on, like, the trial stuff. And while she is a boost in damage, obviously there's a 50% follow-up attack buff, and Topaz herself is doing damage, I feel like it comes down to Moze, who I believe is 25%, right? Let me scroll down. It's down here. So it's 25%, so it's half the damage. However, Moze will definitely be attacking more. Damage-wise, I can't say, right? Because it's been a minute since I've used Topaz personally. But I would like to think that Moze does a good amount of damage with all of his everything he does as a follow-up attack buff, considering you're going to be running him with Robin, Aventurine, and Fei Zhao. Slash ratio, obviously depending on what it is. Plus having E2 increasing the crit damage by 40% is pretty nice, and it's way more realistic to get that over having a light cone and a whole second copy of the unit. So it really comes down to, do you want Topaz and Numby because you like their character, or are you running them because of follow-up attack team? Because if you don't already own Topaz and Numby, to make them by far a better unit, you at least want to get her in a dupe or her in her light cone, right? I would have to see calcs to see which one is better, but that's already needing two things, right? Just getting her on her own, I run Moze or March instead. That is a whole pity Plus, the fact that you can lose 50-50 if you're not under guaranteed is pretty rough. That's a lot of currency. That's a whole character you could be going for your account that could be better off, right? Because Moe's isn't free, but Moe's is on Feijiao's banner right now. Moe's is on Robin's banner, Black Swan, Kafka. So I feel like having E2 Moe's isn't going to be like everybody has one, right? Because I barely got one, right? There is some cases, but most people I feel like are going to have E2 Moe's as long as you like one of the characters or haven't just had all of them before and just decided to skip Fei Zhao. So you have a good solid option there. Plus March is free. So it really comes down to, is Topaz worth all the currency you're going to have to use to get her? And I personally don't think so. I think you're far better off going on to Star Road right now. If you're saving up for Topaz and Numby and you don't have E2 Moe's, throw a couple multis and you get them. You just saved a bunch of currency. You can use Moe's. Will there be a damage difference between Topaz having her signature and then being E1? Definitely. She's definitely going to be better than them. But I feel like from what I've seen myself and what I've seen Topaz and Numby do alone, right? It's hard to get a comparison because people have different relics. You know, I really like having one account do both the showcases because it gives me a better idea of what's happening, right? But I feel like it's just, especially if you lose 50-50, bro, I just don't think it's worth it. Especially if you lose both 50-50s. If you're really trying to like min-max your follow-up attack team and you want E1 Robin with S1, and then you lose the Lyco, or you lose both 50-50s, that is so much currency. Let's say you are missing a sustain. Aventurin, way better of a pickup. You need a better support. Robin, way better of a pickup. Rune Mei, way better of a pickup. Unless you comfortably have everything good on your account, like you have a second team, you have a team from Pure Fiction, and you're just trying to build up your follow attack team, and Topaz is like the last thing you need, and you really like Topaz, then sure, I feel like go ahead and summon. But until your account is good to go and you have all the pieces to beat endgame comfortably, beat different game modes comfortably, like having a Pure Fiction team, right? Whether it's, you know, summoning for like Jade or Genti, building up Herda, maybe, you know, building up Himiko, getting Robin for that, getting Rune Mei for that, whatever it may be, right? If you have all that done, I feel like Topaz, sure, go ahead and summon. But until then, I can't recommend it, honestly. It's just too much currency used for what a free unit and a 4-star who is on, do I want to say the best banners in the game? I feel like that wouldn't be a stretch. I feel like that wouldn't be a stretch. As of right now, let me pull it up on the side. Moe's is with Asta, who is a great, well, I wouldn't say a great alternative. She's a good unit, and you can replace her, or you can replace Rune Mei with her to an extent, right? I've seen a lot of people do it. They still get good scores. And then Luca is a solid break unit. I feel like just Robin, best support in the game. Fei Zhao, best DPS in the game. Kafka, dot enabler. Black Swan, great debuffer, great in Pure Fiction. People really like her design. People wanted her. I feel like since he's on 4 different banners with very popular characters, like I said, I don't want to say he's like, oh, completely free and everyone has him, but a character that most people will have plus a free character are options. Do you really want to be spending your pity on Topaz and Numby because of that? At the end of the day, it's up to you guys, but do keep in mind to really get the biggest bang for your buck, you are going to want E1 and her light cone. So yeah, if I had to take a gander based off of just reading them, because I have never tested this myself, right? I've really only seen the E1 S1 or the E0 S0 showcases before, and like my friends using them. But based off of this, you get 50% crit damage versus giving her crit rate and a few other things. Let me actually go ahead and pull up Pride one real quick. I had it pulled up and then I accidentally closed it. Hunt. Alright, this one gives her crit rate 18%, fall attacks increased by 30%, and then it gives you 24% crit damage. 24 versus 50. I'd probably go for her. That is a debuff. That is a debuff. Well, this is also a debuff too, right? Unless it's one of those funny ones where it's like not actually a debuff. Regardless, I feel like the E1 would be better. If you have solid light cones for hunt, definitely the E1. Because you can always just get better crit rate. You'd really just be losing the fall attack damage, but the crit damage increase from her E1 is way higher. It's 24 versus 50, right? So I definitely would say if you do want to try to get it up, I'd probably recommend going for the E1 personally. S1 is definitely not a bad option if you want her to have a better light cone. Like if you have like no hunt light cones, or you only have Fei Zhao's and you're running it on Fei Zhao, you could just get that and you get a crit damage boost. Topaz damage will go up and you get more crit rate, which is always a good thing because then you'd crit more. But yeah, she's definitely a unit where you want to wail out. I made a video on this, how full up tag team is kind of expensive because of the fact that you really want Topaz with her light cone, with her first dupe, and then ratio, you want to get his light cone, then Robin, then Aventurian. You don't need his light cone, but like one free character, which is ratio at the time, his light cone, Topaz with a dupe with her light cone, and then 2 other 5 stars was kind of pricey. But now that we have options, it's like you can really just sub it out, right? But other than that, that's pretty much it for the video. I could probably just rant about how Topaz and Numby just isn't worth it anymore. If you do have Topaz already and you already have her light cone, go ahead and summon, bro. Go ahead and summon, get that last dip. You're good to go. There's no worry about it. If you only have Topaz without her light cone, a little bit of decision making. If you don't have her at all, I'd skip, bro. Unless you just don't ever want to build Robin for whatever reason and you've never got bows, easy skip. Easy skip. Save your currency for future reruns. I feel like the next runs are going to be like Adventurian, Boot Hill, Firefly, Acheron. Very strong characters, very good characters. Heck, the best sustain, one of the most valuable characters in the game of Adventure. And if you don't have him, insane pickup. You definitely want to be saving your currency for him over, someone who has 2 great alternatives. But on that, like I said, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.